Because Wolf Creek, like that shit, he didn't die. Like he just walked off into the fucking desert. Like, bye. Like, whatever. And the story's super fabricated on some of it. So it's not all true, obviously. But anyways.
No, enough of it's true to make it not nice.
It is. And I got some stuff to say about, look, you do whatever you want. You want to go outside, that's fine. But there's a reason why I don't hike. I'm going to tell y'all right now. It is exactly why I'm not outdoorsy type of gal. I ain't hiking. Y'all ain't going to find me in the fucking mountains. You ain't going to find me nowhere. You'll find me inside this house where the AC is blasting. Like right now.
Don't rub it in. We have no AC and it's about, I don't know.
What?
Yeah,
what year are you in? What?
AC is not a thing in the UK. It's cold here 9 out of 12 months.
Y'all can't get that shit? Can you get it? Or is it just not like a thing?
We can get it. It's just really expensive because it's not a thing. No one really has it unless you're like a big office block. But like houses don't have AC.
What do you have?
We have windows and doors, and occasionally we'll turn a fan on to blow the hot air around.
Do you have window units? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like they look like a little mock air conditioner. You don't have those?
No, we have a window that you turn the handle and you push it open and it lets a breeze in.
I can't live there then. I can't ever live there. I die. I'd be dead.
Yeah, but only for 6 weeks out of an entire year is it hot enough to even worry about that.
Okay, well, that's not too bad then. I might can live with that, maybe.
Yeah. Our average temperatures are like, in Fahrenheit, probably 60-ish.
Oh my God, you're lucky.
That's like our average temperature all year round.
Excuse me.
And like the last week has been, I don't know, 90 maybe.
Okay, let me just say this real quick. It is, 90 is like when I wake up in the morning. It's almost 90 sometimes, right? It can be in the 70s, but it's humid. So we have a lot of humidity. It's very hot. It be getting to like 103 Fahrenheit, like 103. Like you can cook some shit. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's humid. You walk outside and you instantly feel sticky, wet. You feel like you can't breathe. It's that type of humidity. So that's why I don't go outside hardly.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Right. I'm feeling this episode is going to be a good episode.
I think so. They're all good episodes. I don't know what you're talking about, but 5 are not going to satisfy a serial killer, right? There would be no actual number. It would be until you got caught.
We are not like other shows.
I don't want to be rude, but I'm going to be rude because you know how I am. Wasn't a very pleasant looking woman. I'm not trying to be a bitch, but just saying.
She was not a high class lady of the night.
I know it looked like some shit that you did in Kitty Corral school. Like, what?
Fucking awful.
Of course, he knows where she's buried, and it wasn't long after that. Like, he's like, I'm digging this bitch up. I need her vulva.
And in 2003, Nancy filed for divorce and issued a restraining order.
You want to smoke or vape? Even vaping is not allowed in the facility. You have to go outside.
A whole new level of horrific.
There was much you could do to change it, to be honest.
Hello and welcome to another riveting edition of the You Run podcast True Crime. Your panel of expert hosts every time is me, Scott. I'm the reluctant true crime investigator who actually still doesn't like true crime, it turns out, after this case. And Heather, the splash of wine with all of our true crimes. Hi Heather, how you been?
Hi everybody, I've been good. I think that you still like true crime. I get it, like this case is kind of
rough.
It's rough, okay, in all ways. But like you like true crime. You definitely like true crime a lot more than you used to. I think, okay, let me take that back. Maybe you don't like it.
No.
You definitely have more of an interest in it. So you kind of do a deeper dive into it than, you normally would before.
Yeah, when we first started out, it was very much like, this is Jack the Ripper. This is what he done. He's a really bad dude. The end. Thanks for listening.
Bye. Yeah. I mean, that case right there, that one is the most boring, I think, honestly. We've done some other cases that haven't been as lively, But like, it's Jack the Ripper. Like, we weren't even alive. We have no idea. We don't know anything. No. Nobody does.
What's been going on with you? Much going on?
Not much. I've been being a mom, as you know.
And someone else we know has just become a mum as well.
Yes, Mary just had her baby. Have you seen the baby?
Yeah,
She's very so cute. I told Mary, and I said, I'm saying what I said because I don't care. But I saw her little baby, Nora, and I said, "Girl, that baby give me baby fever. I don't want to look at it again. Get it out of my face." Because she has so much hair, and I've been keeping up with Mary, of course. For all the listeners, if you don't know, me and Mary are actually really good friends. Going to try to visit her as soon as I can. Give her time to settle, obviously, with her new baby. But that baby has so much hair, and I'm just like...
Yeah, and your babies are not too far apart, so you could
actually... About 5.5 months, yeah, about 5 months.
Betrothal can still be a thing.
It'd be Campbell's little girlfriend when they get older.
Yeah.
But see, Mary lives in Florida, so... Which I'm sure that's been, like, you know... She ain't going to come at me for saying that. I'm not telling you where, but she lives in Florida.
Yeah,
and that is a little ways. Yes, and that's a ways away from me, actually. We've kind of talked about it. It would be better to take a plane to go see her than drive, because that's a long drive.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm super excited for her. So that's all I've been doing. I've been talking to her. I've been Instagramming, getting weird follow requests. I don't know about you, but I swear to you, every day. It's like...
That's been day one.
It's weird.
That's been every day since I started the shows. Every day I get weird because I don't even, like, anyone can follow me. I don't have requests on because I don't put, it's all show stuff that goes on there. So anyone can follow me. I get some of the most interesting and bizarre people follow me.
I'm scared, actually, Scott. I'm not going to lie, because like, it'll say so-and-so started following you from your reel. And then there's a reel I did with Campbell, and it was just, I haven't really done any kind of social media stuff really. And I'm like, my page is the same as yours. You can't make it private because it is how would you say it? Like, not a commercial page, but because it was podcasting.
Yeah.
You can't make it private. I'd have to start over, and I'm not going to do that. I'd lose all my followers. But I'm like, why is Jesus who walks on his toes following me? Like, I don't know who this is. It's these people be making up profiles and started following me. I'm telling you, I'm gonna send you a screenshot. Like, it's scary.
I've still got the account that has followed me pretty much from day one and listens to Horror Movie Review. And every time after Horror Movie Review will send me a message saying that the more he listens, the more he thinks I need Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if he's probably right, to be fair.
I mean, we probably all do, like, honestly, but like, why is he still following you? I don't know. Maybe he's just...
Yeah, maybe he is the reason there one day will be a You Run Podcast True Crime episode on me.
Maybe.
I
hope you can still show up to co-host. They better set your dead ass body up in that chair.
it feels really odd recording. Like, so people know me and Heather normally record once or twice a month. And we're recording this quite early because we've got busy schedules and we can't kind of fit everything in. So it feels really weird because I only spoke to you like a week ago and now we're back.
I mean, we talk all the time. Like, I mean, we talk in quotations, we message. Yeah. That's the only way we can talk. But like, we're going to be recording again soon. Actually, we have a few things coming up. So we're going to probably be recording like soon because we're almost done with June.
Yeah.
And we have Father's Day coming up. And I didn't realize that in the UK, you also celebrate Father's Day on the day.
Yeah.
They hate moms in the UK, don't they? Or something. Yeah, I don't know.
They get a weird, just a random day and plonked in the middle of the year. I don't know why.
It confused me.
Yeah, I don't get it. Because we had a short time build up for this, I want everyone to know who's studying for exams at the moment or has just finished exams. I had to cram for this like I was cramming for an exam. I have never consumed so much information on a case in such a short period of time. I had late nights. I had watching movies, watching documentaries, researching. This case has really done me in.
It is. There's a lot of interesting reading on him.
Yeah.
Now, I did not watch any documentaries just because I had already seen the movie it was inspired by.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
I just didn't do any documentaries because I think at that time I was like, whatever. Like documentaries are hit or miss with me. It depends on the case we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
I can look up most of this information, so I'm good.
I'm going to give everyone the warning now. This is a true crime podcast. We talk about some pretty extreme stuff. On this case, we talk about some of the most extreme you'll ever get. If that's not your cup of tea, thank you very much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day. For everyone else who decides to stay, this is a listener request episode, something you can do here. Your cases won't be guaranteed to get an instant spot. So if you request a case, I'm not going to say, yeah, we'll do that. But 100% at a minimum, it will get a poll. This case, I knew nothing about it. And when I looked, I went, oh, this sounds really interesting. This coming from Skellington Fan on Instagram.
Yes.
Go give her a follow if you like anything horror, and definitely if you like anything A Nightmare Before Christmas, because she covers that shit better than
she does.
anyone.
And she's very interactive in her page. So she does a lot of, like in her stories, if you guys want to interact with her, she does a lot of those ask me anything, the anonymous things, that sort of, she just does a lot of interaction through her story and her page. So of course, go chat with her. She's lovely. I love her.
She is. Skelly's from the Great Down Under, as in Australia. And I thought it was wonderful that she picked a case from her home country, because you and me are never going to stumble on a serial killer from Australia ever. Naturally.
I mean, I fucking hope not, dude. Not this one anyways. Like, no.
Today we dive into a case that inspired the movie Wolf Creek. And I'll be honest, I never knew Wolf Creek was based on true events. That shit is terrifying.
Yes.
This case covers robbery, kidnap, rape, torture, and murder. It also reinforces to me that Australia is the most dangerous place on the planet. I'd love to go, but literally everything in Australia wants to kill you. Everything you've got.
Yeah.
If you go in the sea,
spiders
and snakes on the land. If you want to go in the sea, there's crocodile. There's sharks. If you want to go in lakes and things like that, there's crocodiles and alligators. And now you can't even go like wandering in the woods because there are serial killers.
Yeah, but like hiking is not that much fun, y'all. You crunchy ass people that are like, I got my granola bar and my hiking boots on. Y'all ain't having fun for real. Like this shit ain't fun. It's hot. Like, where is your destination? Like, what is the point of hiking? That's where I'm trying to get to. It's like, I can walk down my street. I hike there. What are we trying? Is there like a cup of gold, coins? I'm done.
It's just to get the view. It's for the views.
I can Google views. Remember whenever I said, hey, it's just like I Google pets. If my son is like, I really like a dog, I'm like, I'll Google your picture. We'll cut it out, put it in your room every day. Never will die.
You can call him Barney. You can pet him in the mornings.
There you go. So just saying, hiking is not for me. I don't like hiking or camping. You guys know this.
This episode is going to get all outback crazy as we look at the life and crimes of the backpack murderer, Ivan Milat.
It's almost 2 years since the first bodies were found in New South Wales' Belanglo State Forest, sparking one of the biggest police investigations in Australian history.
A 50-year-old man is being questioned tonight in Sydney about the backpacker murders. He was arrested in a huge overnight operation in the Campbelltown area, and since then he's been charged with threatening a hitchhiker in 1990.
By dawn, a breakthrough. The main target in this morning's raid, a house just behind me here in Cinnabar Street at Eaglevale, where a 50-year-old man was arrested. Heavily guarded, the former truck driver was sped back to Campbelltown Police Station. There, detectives from the Backpacker Murder Task Force began questioning him. A rifle and a samurai sword found during the raids were rushed to the command post of Campbelltown for tests. Neighbours were stunned by the morning's raid.
They had the next door neighbour out on the ground, had a shotgun to his head.
Today's news has already travelled around the world. The families of the Belanglo victims expressed relief that there's a breakthrough in the investigation.
Over 4 years, the forest of Belanglo had hidden a sinister secret. The bodies of 7 young backpackers, some buried, some hidden under leaves and branches, all brutally murdered.
At Hilltop, the police investigation took on painstaking proportions. A search for possibly more shallow graves and any clues the suspected backpacker killer may have left behind. But police stress so far there have been no significant discoveries.
As far as I can understand, there's no direct link between what he's been arrested for and the involvement with our girls.
It's 4.5 years since the first of 7 backpackers disappeared as they hitchhiked south out of Sydney. Just 6 months ago, the last bodies were found in the forest that were known as the Killing Fields. After the remains of the British girls were uncovered, it was a year before another chance discovery, this time 2 backpackers from Melbourne, James Gibson and Deborah Everest. Once police knew for certain they were chasing a serial killer, a task force was formed, 300 police drafted into the search, and a $250,000 reward offered. Within a month, another 3 bodies were found, German backpackers Simone Schmidl, Gabor Neugebauer and friend Anja Habschied, bringing the grisly total to 7. Now, I found this case really tricky to put together, purely for the fact that a lot happens and it's not a case of this guy killed people the police were looking for and the police caught him. It's kind of not that case. And also there's a lot of stuff that he may have done and that I think he'd done. So trying to put this into any sort of order was quite complicated. I'm kind of going to start with what happened and what led to him committing the murders. And we're going to try and we're going to wing this episode a little bit.
Yeah, because he doesn't really, to me, when I'm doing my research on him, he didn't follow a typical serial killer dialogue. There is no to be honest, there really wasn't much of a pattern other than his specific type of victims. That's it. I think he just was fucking crazy dude that wanted to kill people. Like literally, that's it.
Yeah. We're going to start by sharing his criminal past and things that sort of led him to his first murder and subsequent confirmed murders after that. His crimes began really early in his life. So he was born in 1944. He was the 5th of 14 children.
That bitch be like the Duggars, like that American, TV show, The Duggars, 19 kids and counting. That's what his mama was.
Wow.
That's too many. That's too many. I love kids, but that's too damn many.
I've got a large family. That makes my family look small.
Yeah, we have a huge family, but, I take that back. Let me say this real quick. My great-grandmother, my papaw grandfather, for you people, I say papaw, his mother had 12 children. So, but that was a thing back then. Honestly, like the 40s, like they did have a lot of children for the most part anyway. So I do have a big family.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got a big family as well, but I don't think any of us have 14 children. That's just... Wow.
I can't, Scott. I can't stay pregnant for the rest of my life.
No, exactly that. Milat was raised Catholic, and this was my first indicator that he's going to have some deep, serious issues. For any other listeners raised Catholic, I can say that shit because I was raised Catholic and I come from a place of knowledge.
Yep, and you're not bashing it. You literally have lived it, so you can say whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, and I am bashing it. The Catholic religion makes crazy people.
No, I know. My grandmother was Catholic. She drank a lot. I'm just going to say that. My great-grandmother, excuse me, she drank a lot.
I think that kind of comes with as soon as you become confirmed, you become borderline alcoholic. I think that's...
Do you know what Crown Royal is? Like is it whiskey scotch? Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Crown.
yeah.
Okay. I figured you did. But anyhow, my great-grandmother, she used to carry a little purple bag that it came in. She'd keep it in her purse and she'd be like, take a little swig. Like, she'd be drinking it all the time.
I love your great-grandmother already. She's awesome.
Unfortunately, she passed, but she was like almost 90. So it's my mama's mom. Look, in my family, we live a long fucking time. We don't die easy, y'all. Just saying.
Now, Milat had 10 brothers, and him and all of his brothers were known to the local police. Their father was an abusive drunk, and they were all known for carrying knives. They were all capable and trained by their father in the use of firearms, which just blows my mind. I couldn't imagine showing my kids how to use a gun.
I think you couldn't now, but in that time frame, I think that was perfectly normal. Like it would have been nothing. But yeah, like now, look at my face. You could see my face, Scott. I am not teaching my child because they be killing their parents.
Yeah.
You got to watch for the signs.
Yeah. By the age of 13, Milat had already done a small sentence it was like a home for troubled boys. It wasn't a correctional facility.
Yeah, no.
And that was for killing dogs and cats with machetes.
That's your first sign right there. Oh, yeah, I'm telling y'all right now, it ain't just a kid being bad. When they kill a puppy or a cat or any, like, y'all need to take that kid and get him evaluated.
Yeah, this began a life of crime for him. So he was sentenced to numerous trips to jail. He was even given hard labour at one point. So he spent sort of from 64 to 67 incarcerated in one form or another. These were for various things like armed robbery, car theft, and just run-of-the-mill stealing shit from people's houses.
Yes.
His final sentence ended in 1971, and this is the year that he kind of graduated, shall we say, into the crimes that brought us to talking about him today.
Yeah, he got a little more, I don't even know the right word to say, but he did something way more daring than just robbed a store.
Yeah, he did.
Say that.
In April 71, Milat abducted two 18-year-old hitchhikers at knife point. One of these poor women was raped by him, which is the most heinous, horrific crime. And I've got absolutely no time for that crime at all.
I don't have time for that shit at all.
I would, this is a strong thing to say, but I would say for me personally, that upsets me more than murder because you leave so much trauma behind with that as well.
You leave those emotional scars. It's like the physicality of it will go away. You know, bruises heal, but like that emotional scarring, I'm telling you right now, from someone that was in an abusive relationship when I was younger, you never forget that mentally. You just do not. You can get over it and work through it, but you never forget it. Not, I couldn't imagine that at all.
Thankfully, he stopped at a service station and the two girls escaped, which led to his arrest. He was charged with 1 count of rape and 2 counts of armed robbery for things he'd already done that they were looking for him for those crimes.
Yeah.
Now, between his arrest and his trial, amazingly, he was bailed, which again I find bizarre. During his time on bail, he completed a string of armed robberies before faking his own death.
He's stupid.
This blew my mind. So he didn't live too far from Sydney, and there's a spot called The Gap, which is a popular place for people to unalive themselves, shall we say. It's insane to me there's a popular spot to do that. If you're thinking of that and there's a popular spot near you, reach out to someone, speak to someone. Don't do that shit.
There's a place in, I believe, I don't want to be wrong. And so y'all can fact check me on this, actually. In Japan, there's like a suicide forest type thing.
Yeah.
They made a movie based on it, The Forest, actually. A horror movie made about it. But anyways, yeah, they say that's supposed where people, because you can't get to the bodies or you can't find them or something, so they would go and hang themselves, basically. So
yeah, if you're struggling with shit like that, reach out to anyone. Fucking reach out to me and Heather. We'll talk to you.
I will talk to you all day, and yes, please do.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, Milat left his shoes at the top of the Gap. He then fled to New Zealand on a fake passport where he lived for 2 years. He returned when his mother was sick. So she had a heart attack in, I think it was 1973. She had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And he returned and he lived in Australia and was not captured until 1974. He went to trial and the family lawyer got the case thrown out in the early stages of the hearings due to lack of evidence, lack of witnesses, and they couldn't contact the two girls who were originally involved. So it was who said this happened? Well, these two girls did. Well, where are these two girls? And they're backpacking across the world, so they're never going to find them. So the case was thrown out and he was released, which, how does that happen?
I mean, it's just like sloppy police work / him getting lucky, I would say, because like I don't think this was the first time he got away with shit. It wasn't the first time. So it's like, he's just, I mean, like, how are you supposed to actually put it down to one person, right? If you can't contact the victims, how would you be able to say, oh, well, we know that he did this because so-and-so told us, but guess what? They didn't tell you because you can't contact them.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, and plus it was the 70s, Scott. Like, what the fuck? I told you already, you could do whatever the fuck you wanted in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, the more it goes on, the more you're right.
Yes.
In 1975, he got a job as a truck driver for the Roads and Traffic Authority. And all was fairly quiet until 1977, when he was arrested for the attempted rape and murder of 2 female hitchhikers. He was released and no charges were filed. We've said it before on this show so many times. If you are the victim of a violent crime, report it and press charges, because you could save the life of somebody else.
Of someone else. Okay, and we do say that and we advocate for that, because regardless of this being a discussion on this particular case, there are things like this happening everywhere. And it's one of those things where it's like, yes, go out there. You need to report it. If you have been sexually assaulted, report it. But then we also have to think that, like, in their mind frame, in their mindset, they may not, they're too scared. So yeah. I get it, but we want you to be brave. And if anybody hears this, it's like, I know it's scary, but do it. Try your best to push forward and do it, because these people don't care. And whoever's committing these crimes, they do not care, and they will hurt other people and maybe even children. And don't.
Yeah. No, you can't. You can't let that happen. There are a host of potential victims that Milat may have killed. And yes. I'm going to save these 20 plus potential victims till we get to what's going to be an extended cut. On this episode, we're going to stick to the ones that he was convicted of, his proven murders, if you want to call it that. In 1989, Deborah Everest and James Gibson, both 19, were travelling across Australia. They were hitchhiking. They were picked up by Milat, and their bodies were discovered in 1993 with multiple stab wounds. So, to give a bit of context, Milat would pose as a guide for hire or a taxi for hire, and he'd do it cheap, and he'd be like, I know the area really well, come with me. I'll tell you what, I'll even give you a lift for free. Give me $20 and I'll be your guide.
Yeah, because they were like kind of out there. So it's like he was just trying to help them, quote unquote.
Yeah, and it's very similar to how Bundy would abduct his victims. This show of, I'm a really nice guy, I can be your friend, come with me. Oh, look, you're near my car now. Wallop, back of the head. Help me
do this, and I'm going to smash you in my little. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah,
it's a horrible tactic, and I think with hitchhikers, or not necessarily hitchhikers, but with backpackers, when they're traveling the world, a lot of these young people have got such an open, happy view of the world that people are there to help, and people do like the tourism. And I hate to say it. I would pay to see you sent on like a 2-week backpacking trip. That shit would make a Netflix special, like 2 weeks.
It would be an actual fucking docuseries, because it would be me,
a smash hit,
reenacting the part in Blair Witch Project where Heather's snotty nose the whole fucking time. Like, literally, that's me. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I have hiked with my husband before, but it was like to go to a little waterfall during the day. There was tons of people around. It was fine. I am not hiking. I can't wear those shoes that hurt my feet. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm just letting y'all know.
In 1991, he would strike multiple times, the first in January and again in December that year. So in January, Simone Schmidl was abducted hitchhiking outside of a train station in Western Sydney. Her remains were found again in 1993, having suffered 20 stab wounds. And she was actually 20 at the time as well. So again, a young female victim. In December, 2 more backpackers were abducted hitchhiking. This time it was Gabor Nuremberg and Anya Hasbashid. I'd done well with names that time.
You go, girl.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't even going to try. When I was taking these notes, I said to myself in my brain, I said, Scott better fucking have Google translated these names because I'm not.
Yeah, these were hard. Their bodies were discovered in September of 1992. It was revealed that Gabor had been bound and shot 6 times, and Anya had actually been beheaded. Which, what a change in MO, going from stabbing to then stabbing when someone's bound to then full beheading and shooting as well. It's like there's no.
Well, it's the violence of it, right?
Yeah.
Because like him stabbing 20 times, we already know that's overkill. We've already done enough of these cases to know that all you have to do is stab someone one good time and you will kill them if you know what you're doing, right? I'm not advocating for that. Please do not do that to people. But what I'm saying is that this is beyond killing. This is enjoyment. This is pleasure. This is rage. This is something, because the fact that she was decapitated or he was decapitated, is like maybe they slit the throat, and then they've done that before. You'll hear that, where they slit the throat so severely where the head comes off. That is fucking, I cannot.
Milat's final confirmed murders were in April 1992, where he kidnapped Joanne Walters and Caroline Clark as they hitchhiked across the area. Their bodies were found in September that year. Joanne had been stabbed multiple times and Caroline had been shot 10 times.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The same thing with a gun. Like, if you think about it, it's like a gun's even more powerful in my mind. If you shot somebody in the head one time, the chances of them surviving that are basically slim to none. Yeah. So you're going to, or if they don't get help, they're going to die anyways.
Yeah. Okay? The only way you survive a gunshot to the head is if David Berkowitz pulled the trigger, because we realised he's crap at shooting people.
Boy, tired of him. I wanted to say something about him, but I'll have to just talk about it later. I'll save it for extended cut because it is a big jab at somebody.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll save it.
I know you're all wondering sort of how the bodies were discovered. Was there a big investigation to these people going missing that led to the bodies being found? No, there was no investigation whatsoever until the first bodies were found. The nature of backpacking across the world it's exactly that. There are long periods of time where people are not in contact with their loved ones. And this also adds to the complication of, if someone does go missing, the families that are in other countries, who do they contact? How do they push investigations forward? The general lack of people's whereabouts when they're traveling it's just part and parcel of that. And I say that from a place of knowing. I went traveling when I was about 18. No, I was 17, and I traveled for a couple of years. There would be times where I would go a month or more without speaking to anyone in the UK, and no one would have any idea of like my day-to-day activities or where I was going or what I was doing. It's really not that uncommon to have these like people disappear traveling. It just happens.
Where did you go?
I went and travelled across the Canary Islands, which are a group of Spanish islands off the coast of Africa. I went and travelled those and worked as a holiday rep, and I done a stint as a holiday rep. Then I worked for a couple of nightclubs. Then I worked for, you name it. I done it while I was there. Sold timeshare for a little while.
That is crazy. So you're very seasoned.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. I mean, it was very much a party lifestyle. So you'd get up at like lunchtime, you'd have a couple of beers with breakfast, and then you'd party all night while you worked. And you'd round up about 6 o'clock in the morning, do 6 hours sleep, and repeat that 7 days a week. But
you didn't backpack per se. Or did you backpack, or were you kind of house hopping? You know what I'm saying? Like just staying wherever you could.
I done probably a month, about midway through, where I lived on the beach for about a month.
You're so daring. So I didn't know you were like that.
Yeah, so I'm not now. I love my creature comforts, but there was a couple of us, and we'd finish work, we'd be really drunk, we'd go down to the beach, we'd take our stuff out of the locker we'd had on the beach, we'd unroll our sleeping bag, and we'd just lay under the stars as the waves lapped up. It was an interesting time in my life.
That's actually like that being that young, that would have been pretty cool. Now, young Heather probably would have been totally down for that. But senior citizen Heather is like, no.
Yeah. Old me is like, why did I wouldn't do that now.
I would not, like I said, I barely go outside. My poor child is never going to see outside. Anyways, no, but kudos to you for living your best life when you were young. Yeah. I love that.
I've done it now. Definitely not doing it again. Highly recommend if people want to go try it.
Yes.
The first bodies were discovered in September 1992 by two runners. These were the bodies of Caroline and Joanne. Now, I told you Caroline was shot 10 times. What I didn't say is that when police discovered her, they worked out that she had been hung up and used as target practice, and all 10 shots were in her head.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't fathom how the things that these people went through, we will never know, because he's never said what happened, but the things he must have done to get to a point where you hang someone up and then you walk away and use them as target practice. This is just another level.
It's just because he enjoyed that. Exactly. It's evil. And it was just enjoyment for him. There was no, he did not have any empathy for sure.
No, none
That's
whatsoever.
That's why he did this shit.
Police searched the area thoroughly and said it was highly unlikely they'd find any other bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cut them a little bit of slack. So they were found in the Balango Forest, and the Balango Forest is in New South Wales in Australia. It's about 16 square miles, so it is ginormous. All of the bodies ended up being found here, but in the area they were, the chances of them finding another one without searching the entire 16 square miles, it was never going to happen. So I'm not going to bash on the police for not finding all of the bodies first time round.
Well, there's animals and stuff, right? Like there would be something that could possibly have, I hate to say it, but they're going to eat the stuff. And so it's like, well, what are you supposed to do? Like, even if they found bones, they'd be very unlikely and very hard to find in a forest that size.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, Scott. Like, you can't get pissed off and be like, oh, they didn't try hard enough. No, they did find bodies, but sometimes they don't. Even in the best conditions, they just do not.
Yeah, and the reason I said that is I listened to another true crime podcast who absolutely bashed the police for a good 20 minutes. I was like, come on, give them a bit. That area is massive. They found two bodies. There's nothing to make them suspect there could be 10 more. They're not going to keep looking.
They didn't know.
No. In October, the bodies of Deborah were discovered. This was by a man who was searching for firewood, just a local guy who was just beating through. She'd been severely beaten and found. So she was found in the fetal position, which I find horrible because it means she was trying to protect herself.
It kind of makes me sad. Let's just pass that. Yeah.
The police continued into November with their search. After finding now another body, they decided we probably should push on now. There's going to be more. They found Simone, Gabor and Anya's remains were discovered. Now, I said Anya was decapitated. They never recovered her skull.
Ugh.
So...
I think that happened with Bundy too. He beheaded one of his victims, and it's the same thing. I can't even imagine. Okay, losing a loved one is already hard enough, and I can't imagine that if you wanted to have a proper funeral for them and you wanted to actually have them like in their coffin so you could see them or their casket. It's like they don't have a head, so you can't even like see them one last time. No. It's basically like I just can't, that gives me chills because it makes me so sad to know that whatever you believe, and people believe different things, but it always seems to make you feel better to kind of say, it's like I got to see my grandpa when he passed away in his form, quote unquote, but like I still got to see him before, he was buried. And for some reason it's sad, but it kind of puts you at peace. And that's just what worked for me. But the fact that they can't do that is wrong. Yeah.
And I think it gives a bit of closure when you can do that as well. I done that with my mum, and it did. I don't know if it helped, but it gives you sort of almost like a goodbye moment.
It is like a goodbye moment, but it's very odd. It's very hard. We're not going to get into that. But I mean, it is hard to describe because it's like, you know they can't, they're gone, but their physical body is here. And so, I don't know.
It's very
Anyways,
strange. It's a very strange experience.
Yes.
Something I want to bring up. So this forest is actually it's not a national park, but it's the equivalent of a national park. And it's still a tourist attraction.
No,
and people still go there and hike there and walk there. I don't know if I'd go there knowing what I could potentially stumble across.
I already told you guys to not fucking hike to begin with, but much less don't be hiking in Murder Woods. That's what I'm calling it. Don't do that.
No. I have to say, Australian detectives are pretty good in the 90s, and they make American and UK police not look that great. So they put together effectively a task force in the early 90s once they found these bodies. They had a shortlist of 230 suspects, which in less than a month they took to 32 suspects, Milat being one of them.
Yeah.
I also believe had the investigation continued, they would have caught Milat without any assistance at all. They didn't need any. But
I don't think so. They were doing their job.
Yeah, really, really well. They got a call from the UK, which meant their investigation could pretty much come to a close. There's a guy from the UK called Paul Onion, and he saw on the news that these investigations were going on, and he called the police in Australia and said about a year ago he was backpacking and he got a lift off of a guy he knew as Bill. Shortly after picking him up, Bill pulled a revolver on him and basically told him to tie himself up with a rope. Paul got out of the car and he was shot at. He managed to flag down another driver who then got him away to safety. Paul did not report this. Again, Paul, if you had reported this...
you would have saved a lot of trouble if you would have just reported it, of course.
But Paul remembered the make and model of the car and had a solid description that only fitted a couple of suspects. Now, with some old-fashioned police work, like finding out Milat had sold the car that matched the one in the description when the bodies were first discovered, and then flying Paul Onion out to Australia to identify Milat from a mugshot, police were they had everything. That they went in for the arrest. My God, they go in Australia, they go in hard. 50 armed officers surrounded his home.
They ain't fucking around, Scott.
No, they're not. They arrested him on weapons charges and an attempted abduction of Paul Onion because they had no evidence to tie him to everything else. During the search of his home and then his mother's home, they discovered numerous weapons, which include automatic machine guns, handguns, machetes, hammers. I mean, this guy had a full arsenal of weaponry. And they also found personal effects to each and every one of the victims in one of those houses. That's a slam dunk. That's case closed.
Exactly.
We don't do trials. If you're new here, we don't do trials. If you're here all the time, we just don't. We do give you kind of the cliff notes, but trials are dull and boring.
They are.
Now, Milat believed he would be found innocent.
I mean, what do all serial killers have in common, Scott?
They're stupid.
Exactly. And they all have this egotistical, narcissistic personality that's like, that's not me. It's like, it is you, motherfucker. You did this. So come on. But they all believe they won't be caught. Yeah,
but even when he was caught, he basically, I think one of the things he said to police, like as they were going into the courtroom for like the verdict, he's like, you're gonna be so upset when I walk home.
Well, and that again, that's just that's that ego about him. Now, some of them do want to be caught, like BTK, for example, which I think we should poll. Anyways, his is you're gonna have a hard time if we ever get him anytime soon. Anyways. He wanted to be caught. Like, he was purposely like, how can I get caught? But like, I think it was more about fame, like 15 minutes of fame type of thing. But anyways.
Yeah.
Milat? Is it Milat?
I'm calling him Milat.
You know what I said? I said, in my head, I hope Scott gets this. And is it Malay, like filet? Or is it Milat, like kill it?
No, I think it's Milat, like kill it. I think.
I don't know.
Well, whatever it is, Milat,
Yeah.
he was stupid. He was wrong. He was given a life sentence for each of his victims.
Mhm.
For good measure, they gave him an additional 6 years for the attempted abduction of Paul Lunyon. It's like, kind of didn't need that. The 7 back-to-back life sentences. Pretty much
Right.
done
Like his ass ain't getting out of jail. But again, that's one of those things that we've discussed about why do you need to give someone 7 life sentences? And you've asked this question.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to throw this out again. It's to make sure that they cannot get out of jail, that they can't do that many appeals. And in Australia, I don't know how that works, but in the US, it's sort of like, you're not getting out. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think Australia is very much once you're in for a long time.
You're in for good. Yeah.
The case lasted a good couple of months, and it had 130 witnesses take the stand, including Milat, who gave his own testimony and alibis for all of the dates, none of which could be corroborated by anyone else. Like his excuse for everyone was like, I was just out for a walk, or like I went for a drive, and they're like, in the area where the person was abducted. Well, yeah, I was in the area, but I didn't abduct them. That was kind of like how solid his alibis were.
I mean, okay. But maybe he just, in his mind, he thought that, they're going to believe me. No.
I think so. Before we get into the final stages of this opening case and the episodes, I want to remind everyone that you can get in touch with us. Send us an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com. You can make a TikTok. Don't use any music. Say whatever you want about us, the show, a case, and we'll play that on the air.
Wait a minute. Do not say whatever you want about me.
Please do. And then I'll play it to Heather
Scott,
and we can watch her explode.
I am not getting bullied. I will. I'll hit that block button fast.
Or you can send us an audio DM on Instagram. Yes. We'll play that on the air as well. I'd also like to remind you, leave us a 5-star review wherever you can and share the show with your friends. And I keep forgetting to say that. Also buy merchandise at yourunpodcast.com.
Please buy something.
Yeah. Loads of new merchandise coming from the 1st of August. So when I say loads, every single piece of merchandise that is on there now is going to go. And we have got a brand new range of true crime, of horror movie review, of movie review on YouTube. And we've got new items as well, like backpacks and hats and
well, I need some of this new shit. Like I could be wearing a hat and a backpack right now.
Funnily enough, everyone who is a co-host on the You Run podcast will be getting a care package first week of August.
Oh, okay. What month are we in? Okay, I can wait.
Yeah. So Milat began multiple life sentences. His first day in jail did not go very well, as he was beaten almost to death by another inmate.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
come on.
I
Dahmer did it first.
Yeah, karma's a bitch.
There you go.
Yeah. He made an attempted prison break after 1 year of being in prison with a drug dealer. They tried to escape. So he was in Maitland Gould prison, which is it's kind of your run-of-the-mill prison where they put everybody. His prison escape got him upgraded to Goulburn Correctional Facility, which is a maximum security facility which houses Australia's worst offenders and has done for decades. This is the place you do not want to go. This is Australia's equivalent of the Rock, Alcatraz. This is like the worst of the worst. That's what
I
he
ain't
got.
Trying to go there.
Well, he got that as a reward for trying to escape. He tried every appeal that he could through the legal system, every way to try and get his appeal heard, and every single one was just like, no, your appeal's been denied. Your appeal's been denied.
Well, of course.
In 2009, he tried to cut off his finger. Well, he actually cut off his finger with the intention of posting it to the High Court to force an appeal. The finger never made it out of the prison, funnily enough. He'd also previously swallowed razor blades, staples, and shoelaces to try and get his appeal heard.
Okay, I didn't read that. I don't know how I skipped that because I read a lot. I spent a couple hours doing research. Okay, that's a lot because usually I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I just know a lot of stuff in my brain. But this was a case I didn't, know. I was trying to cooperate it with the movie. Razor? How you do that and you don't die?
Well,
these people crazy.
He was trying to injure himself to basically. He was basically saying, "I'm going to kill myself because I know I'm innocent and I need my appeal heard."
So, and that makes a lot of sense to go ahead and kill yourself if you know you're innocent. That don't make no sense.
No.
Get out of here with that.
Exactly. In May 2019, he was transferred to a hospital, diagnosed with cancer, and died of October that year at the age of 74.
Yeah. Well, bye. Sorry.
This is the case. This is the facts that we know that went through court. Honestly, this is not even the tip of the iceberg. It's not even, we've not even seen the iceberg like pop out of the water yet.
Nope.
It's about to get insane when we come back with Extended Cut. We'll be covering the additional suspected victims spanning from 1971 right up until when he was caught. There are well over 20 potential victims that this guy has killed.
For sure.
We're also going to look into the evidence that incriminated other members of his family, including his sister, in not only knowing about the murders, but also participating in them. This could have very well been very much a family affair. There is lots of rumours that the sister actually killed a couple of these, and Milat tried to clean it up after her.
I have some good stuff with his older brother and a love child. So y'all guys, y'all better fucking listen to Extended Cut, because that's why I ain't say the shit now. I got it written down.
Yeah, Extended Cut for this is going to be wild.
Yes.
I tried to
cram some good stuff.
I tried to cram some of it into this episode, and I'm like,
yeah,
it just doesn't fit. It's kind of like its own separate thing. It's like completely
That's why
different.
I didn't want to say anything. Yeah, because I was like, I want to say this so bad, but I'm going to save it for Extended Cut because it's like juicy goss. Okay. Yeah. It's like really good stuff. But I was like reading it and I was like, this motherfucker, like he got problems.
Yeah, real problems. Before Heather signs us off, I want to say a huge thank you to Skelly, Skeleton Fan, for requesting this case.
Yes.
When you sent this to me, I gave it like a glance over. I had a look through it. This seems pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then I watched Wolf Creek, which I hadn't seen, which is this inspired that movie. And I went, oh, this is nasty. And then when I started digging into it, it's like, wow, you picked a case that I had never heard of, and it's so deep and it's got so many different directions that we can go that we could easily do 2 extended cuts on this. We're going to cram it into one, but we could easily drag this out so much more. So thank you so much. So. And I hope we've done justice to this first bit for you.
Skelly's gonna love it. We're Snapchat buddies, so I will Snapchat her. But she's awesome. She's awesome. This was a interesting case for sure. And Extended Cut is going to be more interesting for sure because I have another song. Bye, bitch.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yay.
It's horrible.
Well, do you want to sign us off then?
Okay, yes, of course. So you guys, of course, like Scott said, we want you to stick around, wait for our Extended Cut episode to come out. I have a PSA though. Let me tell y'all guys right now, this is my PSA. If you want to go hiking, Lord Jesus, please do not ask for directions. Don't stop. Keep walking. Get to your final destination. Okay. Be safe when you're hiking. I'm serious. This is 2023 that we're talking about, but guess what? People still kill people. And it seems to be that our world is worse even now. So do not trust anyone. Okay. David Duchovny, aliens, all that shit. Do not trust anyone. But until next time, stay spooky, stay safe, and see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.
5 are not going to satisfy a serial killer, right? There would be no actual number. It would be until you got caught.
We are not like other shows.
I don't want to be rude, but I'm going to be rude because you know how I am. Wasn't a very pleasant looking woman. I'm not trying to be a bitch, but just saying.
She was not a high class lady of the night.
I know, it looked like some shit that you did in Kitty Corral school. Like, what?
Fucking awful.
Of course, he knows where she's buried, and it wasn't long after that. Like, he's like, I'm digging this bitch up. I need her vulva.
And in 2003, Nancy filed for divorce and issued a restraining order.
You want to smoke or vape? Even vaping is not allowed in the facility. You have to go outside.
A whole new level of horrific.
There was much you could do to change it, to be honest.